Hey everybody, it's Nate from Adventure in a Backpack and introducing
Steph from Adventure in a Backpack.
Yeah, so if you guys have been following for a while, you already know who she is. She's definitely no stranger to this whole operation. Yeah, if you're new to the vlog, I did the first vlog yesterday, just myself, kind of talked about her, and today she's going to be on the vlog and showing some of her expertise as we recap 2016. So pretty much without further ado, let's jump into it. We're going to jump in pretty much just a few topics that really stuck out on our travels. You know, the 20 what how many thousand
26,000 miles.
26,000 miles. So this is some of the stuff that really stood out to us. So here we go.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about the kind of the positives and like the really amazing experiences that we had over 2016, because we had a lot of them, but we wanted to hit our highlights. So my first top one was we became really proficient in having adventures and traveling without planning, and that was something that I struggled with in the beginning because I am very much a planner, and so I like to research things and have kind of a set schedule of what we were going to do in each area and everything. But when you're moving areas every 3, 4, 5 days, it's kind of impossible to research every single one of them. So we got really good actually at just showing up to a place and winging it. And I'm really, really happy that we did that because it was something that I'd never done before, something I was never comfortable with before. And then we went ahead and did it in Nicaragua, and that was the most amazing experience that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely good to make plans, but also definitely good to not make plans.
Be flexible.
Being flexible. Okay, so I would say another good thing about 2016 was some of the connections that we made. Being that we were traveling and we were doing all this adventurous stuff, we met up with lots of people who were also doing adventurous, travel-based, outdoorsy stuff, just like us. And so we kind of realized that it's really easy to connect with people and to kind of network with people whenever we're all doing the same thing anyway. You know, activity attracts the same types of people and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it was really good to have that. You know, when we were in Cascade Locks, Oregon, I'm sorry, let me back up just a sec. We hope to be able to inspire, you know, all of our friends and all of our viewers and all that kind of stuff. But we totally have like people that inspire us, and you know, we're not like some like inspirational like overlord of travel or anything like that. And so it's like there's totally like people who like inspire us. And so I was like, in particular, we met up with Randy from the Get Out More tour from Backpacker magazine, and met up with him in Cascade Locks, Oregon. Met him, hung out with him for a few days, and then went to his Get Out More tour in Bend, Oregon. We actually just randomly met up with him again, and it was really, really great. And being able to see like where his travels has taken him, and it's like being through hiker based kind of seminar that he put on. It was really good to hear that. He just like amped up to take like through hikes, and it's like, let's go do the PCT like today. And it's like, that's probably not a good idea, but still wanted to. But yeah, anyway, it's like those kind of connections are good. We had a connection in a fellow named Michael that he found us. He's also a traveler, adventurer. He travels around by van, lives in his van a lot of the time while he's out traveling and having adventures and stuff. Does a lot of the same stuff we do. He actually came up to us in a Starbucks in, we were debating earlier, we couldn't remember where it was. It was either in Utah or Idaho, somewhere.
Or maybe Montana.
Maybe Montana, I don't know. Those kind of all blurs together. But anyway, we were in a Starbucks working, and Michael came into the Starbucks and like found us, and I guess we just looked like travelers, or maybe we smelled like travelers or something like that. And he came up to us and he's like, "Hey, are you guys adventuring in a backpack?" And we're like, yeah, like we are. And so we're not big enough to have like groupies yet and stuff. We know, like, he's like, "Oh, I saw your car outside." And then like as soon as he said that, because we have a sticker on the back of Daypack that says "Adventure in a Backpack," and when he said he's like, I saw the sticker on the back of your car. My first thought was like, oh no, our car's getting towed, and he's like trying to get like say like, hey guys, your car's getting towed, or hey, your car's on fire, or something like that. And yeah, it totally wasn't. It was a way better experience than what I thought it was initially going to be. Anyway, it's like those are two of the like big contacts we made, and it's just like there's so many of them. And we can't even begin to talk about everybody. So.
Yeah, just amazing connections. And kind of expanding on that, another thing that I really loved about this past year and traveling and everything was being able to reconnect with people that we knew from from the past. And we were able to, specifically in California, we met up with a lot of people in California. We met up with a friend of ours from college, a friend of ours that we both grew up with. We met up with some people up in some fellow RVers up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and then we met up with a friend that we had met online and never actually met in person, and we met up with him in Oregon. Just we happened to be there, he happened to be there, so we met up and went on a hike together. And even beyond that, like, so just connecting with people that we've known for a while and just haven't seen or have never met in person. And then even beyond that, we got to visit some of our family that we hadn't seen in a while, and that was really amazing. Just going to be able to call up my uncle in Visalia, California, and say, "Hey, Uncle Chucky, I'm in Visalia. Can we come over and hang out for a little bit?" And he's got a walnut farm in Visalia, and he's had this farm my entire life, and I have never been there. I had never been there. I don't know why, just never had the opportunity to go out there. And just us traveling through the area, we just happened to be pretty close to the area, and we were like, you know what, let's go see him and visit his farm. So we were able to actually get a tour of the walnut farm and see how walnuts are harvested and all that. It was really, really interesting, really neat, but really amazing to be able to have that connection with our family. Just being able to do that and seeing old friends.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think probably the next thing I would talk about that was just obviously a highlight is just the road trip in general. It's kind of all this stuff is kind of because of the road trip, but the road trip in general was the bread and butter of the whole thing. It was being able to drive to Alaska is just. We're a part of several like RVing groups on Facebook and this kind of stuff, and it seems like that's a bucket list. That's a big time trip, and it is. It's a huge trip. I mean, going from Montana to Alaska, it took us 10 days to get to Alaska. It took us 7 days to get from Alaska back to the U.S. Canada is a huge country, and it takes so long to get up there. It's like something I try to relate things. Whenever we're in Fairbanks. So like right now we're in Blanchard, Oklahoma this very second, and whenever you are in Fairbanks, Alaska, you're actually closer to Russia than you are Blanchard, Oklahoma. And it's kind of mind-blowing to think like how far a drive that is. But then, you step back, you grab a globe, and you look at how far it's like Oklahoma to Alaska, and it's like real small, and it's like there's a lot to it. So it was really, really eye-opening and really, really great to see the scope of that, in addition to all the beauty of it, the potential for adventure, everything like that, the things we learned, all that kind of stuff. I would say it's just the overwhelming, like if you're an RVer, even if you're not an RVer, like really try to do that sometime. That was a good one.
Yeah, definitely. And with all of this road trip and being able to travel 26,000 miles, and we barely even scratched the surface of North America. But seeing all of that and seeing all of the different landscapes of North America and all of the different, the just amazing beauty and how different it is from Colorado to Utah to Alaska to California, just how different the landscape is. And then seeing all of that and then thinking about how much bigger the rest of the world is, and that just makes me even more excited to travel the rest of the world, because if we saw that much stuff and experienced that much in just in just that small fraction of the world, what else is there to see? And so that's really amazing to, kind of, and like you said, mind blowing to think about how big the world is and what we've seen, we haven't seen.
Yeah, isn't that? Check my cheat sheet. Where are we at? Okay, yeah. So the last positive we're going to talk about on this particular vlog was the Know Your Brand campaign. So if you've been watching for a while, you kind of know about the Know Your Brand campaign. That was a really, really good experience for us. Not only was it it was cool. It was it was fun to bring you guys that kind of content, those kind of videos. That was fun. A little new dynamic to Adventure in a Backpack. It opened up some doors for us, on the business side of things. So we're on a few companies' radars and all this kind of stuff. So it was just a good experience all around, honestly. And then it also kind of like, I don't know, it really showed us like how important like conservation really is to us, because it's like before it's like, yeah, sure, I mean, conservation's important, but didn't really think much about it, honestly, and this kind of stuff. But now it's like, it's like I said yesterday in the vlog, you watched that one, I was talking about like writing on the sheet of paper, and it's like, why am I writing on the sheet of paper? It's like I could have just typed it out on my phone and then looked at it. And so it's like you start thinking about these things. It's just little bitty things here and there that, lifestyle changes that add up to make a difference. So the Know Your Brand campaign was really, really good. The connections, meeting companies, seeing good companies. Yeah, it was good. So I guess the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about some things that went wrong on the trip, but to keep it in a positive light, it's things that went wrong and how we fixed it and how we're keeping it from happening again.
Yeah, so the very first one, and something that you guys probably may have noticed if you've been following along for a while, is we got really burned out on the blog. We were writing content, we were pushing out content 2 or 3 times a week, writing stories. That's a lot of writing, that's a lot of editing, that's a lot of work. And even on the flip side of it being, apart from it just being a lot of work, it seemed to get very, very repetitive. So for me, telling stories, writing all of these blogs, I felt like I was telling the same story over and over and over, and it was getting repetitive for me. And I felt like if it's getting repetitive and boring for me, then how repetitive and boring is it for my readers? And so I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that puts out the same story 26 times in a year. So we kind of pulled the reins back on the blog. We haven't pushed out a whole lot of new content recently. We have a lot that we want to share, but we just haven't gotten around. We haven't been able to put it together in a way that we're happy with yet. So going forward, we're going to be doing, first off, we're going to be doing this vlog. So that's a new and different kind of thing, outlet for us to be able to share stuff with you guys without putting it all together in a blog format and everything, making you read stuff and everything. And in addition to that, we're going to be doing less scheduling for blog posts and more so just, as we feel inspired to write something and share something with you, something that is amazing enough to really put into a compelling story, then we're going to share it with you. We're not going to be just putting out every single city that we hit.
Yeah, I think the next thing that we wanted to talk was kind of a negative was honestly that Know Your Brand campaign, and we kind of struggled with a lack of communication with some of these companies that we were trying to get to. For example, we had one company in particular that we tried to give all the companies a probably like 2.5 week heads up that what we were doing and where we were coming in the area and what we were trying to do, and it's like 2.5 weeks. It's like we thought that would be enough time. For a lot of companies that was enough time, but wow, there was one company in particular, which they're a good company, but we're not gonna say who it was, and keep it kind of anonymous. We gave them like 2.5 weeks to hop on the Know Your Brand campaign, and then like 2.5 months after we had already left the city, they emailed us back and like, hey, that sounds super awesome. Like, come on by and we'll get it set up, and it sounds like a super great deal and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, wow, like we have we are not anywhere near your near your city now. It's like, just it was kind of frustrating for us. I'm sure it's frustrating. I don't know if it's frustrating for them. It's probably more frustrating for us, seeing it's like, oh, they wanted to be on this thing, but we're already 1,000 miles away and aren't going back for it. So moving forward, I think that we'll just be a little more patient and be a little bit more on top of things. Give these companies a little longer heads up, a little longer leeway, and I think that's how we can avoid that scenario moving forward.
Yeah, and so the next kind of negative thing or thing that we can improve on in the future is being more social. I know we talked about visiting friends and family and making some great connections, but honestly, we really need to get better about going out and being social just in our everyday lives. Going out and just hanging out at the bar and talking to people, because when we do that, we both really love it and have a great time and make amazing connections doing that. But in 2016, we were very focused on budgeting and being frugal, and so we didn't go out to eat very often. We very rarely went out to bars or anything like that. And I think going forward in 2017, that's something that's very important to us, is to meet more people just every day rather than going to a specific networking event, just going out and having a beer and talking to people.
Yeah, I think the next thing we'd talk about would be, I'm checking my cheat sheet again, would be, I think another big thing, the moving that we didn't do such a good job at, we got a little better towards the end of the year, would be taking ourselves seriously. If you guys listened on a podcast that we were on earlier in the year with one of our friends, Ben Kissam from 36 Thrive, we talked about it a little bit and how it's like, if you want other people to take you seriously, you first have to take yourself seriously, and that's something that we kind of preach. But honestly, sometimes it's hard to do that, and so that's something we kind of struggled with, and a prime example of that was with the Life Proof Unleashed Summer Road Trip. If you guys have been following since then, that was honestly a life-changing event. Just being able to network like that and be able to meet some people with Life Proof company, but also all the other competitors, they were all super awesome. And but I think something that kind of hurt us really was our mindset going into this, because it was an interview. I mean, it was a competition, and I think our mindset wasn't in the right spot, because we went in there, it's like, hey, we've got all these followers that really love what we're doing, and which we did. It's like, if you guys are following back then, we had the most amount of votes on our video by far. But whenever we went into the interview, we wanted to level with them. We wanted to shoot straight with them, and we told them, we're not professional videographers and we're not professional photographers, and I think we really sold ourselves short on that deal, because it's like, what is professional? What is somebody's compensating us for video, compensating us for photography? Well, we had that. We were already doing that, but not, I'm not Jimmy Chin. I'm not shooting for National Geographic just yet. But just because we're not that level doesn't mean we're not professional quality. And so moving forward, and not to say that that's why we lost. There's there could be 100 different reasons why we didn't get to go in the thing. And Matt and Hillary, they did a spectacular job. We had a freaking blast watching those guys, and they're and There They Go is their blog name, so go check them out if you have a chance. But that's something that we need to do better moving forward. And honestly, it's just a do better thing. There's really nothing more to do but do better at it. Take ourselves seriously. Everything we do, this vlog, we're going to take ourselves seriously and treat it like a professional thing. And I don't know, that's I think everybody could probably, benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
I think that's it.
Yeah, let's kill it. We're running out of time on this one. So so this was kind of the end of 2016. I got a lot of big stuff coming up for 2017, which we'll talk about probably tomorrow. But in conclusion, let's how about a little homework for tonight? So in the comments below, if you're watching this on YouTube, comments below. If you're watching on Facebook or anywhere else you're finding this, go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that. And then in the comments, I want to hear basically the same thing. I want to hear something like the best thing that happened to you in 2016, preferably travel and adventure, outdoors related, if you've got it. If not, let me know something good that happened in 2016. And then also I want to hear something that you didn't do a very good job at, and how you overcame it and what you're going to do in 2017 to avoid making those mistakes again.
Yeah,
Good with that?
that sounds great. Can't wait to hear from all of you.
Perfect. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.